Howdy YouTube folks, it's your friendly Spirit Wolf, aka your girl Hazel, bringing you another video. This is an update on the MTD 700. This is the condenser I bought. Typically, if you're doing this, I highly recommend just getting a new set of points anyways. But most of the time, I've found that the points is not usually the part that wears out, unless they have been sanded down multiple times. Sometimes it's like a gritty little round stone surface in between the points that make a spark. I guess is the best way to describe it. And if that's been sanded enough times, it can wear down to the point where they are worn out. But chances are that rarely ever happens with these old things unless somebody serviced it in the past. And usually you can tell if they have. But I can tell for a fact that this one probably has not been serviced in the past, or if it has, that the points were maybe replaced at one point, because they weren't that worn down, but they were pretty corroded. But I've determined that my problem was a condenser, so I just bought a condenser, and if I have to get new points, I'm probably going to get a Magnetron Magneto instead, and not have to mess with them, because I'm not a big fan of this. I like points in condenser, but I'm not always a big fan of having to do the gapping. But anyways, so that's that part. I also bought this puller to get the gear off the end of the steering shaft, which I'll show you when I get out there. Might have bowed a little bit because it kind of popped off the other night when I tried to get that gear off. But not surprising, because this is a little Chinese-made tool, so probably not the best quality in the world. If you know how I feel about Chinese products, most of you longtime mechanics will agree that Chinese products are not that great. So, but it's hard to get a good made in America tool anymore. And if you can find them, you usually have to like pay up for them, so that's the sucky part. But I'm hoping this condenser is right. Worst comes to worst, I'll just get one of those Magnetron coils. Hold on a minute, I'm going to set you down, because I want to put this back in here. Worst comes to worst, I'm going to get one of those Magnetron coils and be done with it. This is the hood and fenders, which I thought came out pretty good. So, what I did is I didn't actually completely get rid of the paint underneath. I kind of just like sanded it down and made it work. And I did the underside of this hood as well. I did the top side first, then underside, and then went back on the top side and kind of did it. You can see imperfections in the hood. Hold on a minute. Because somebody had tried to weld on the bottom side of the hood, but didn't do a very good weld, so they Bondo-sized it. And you can kind of tell that this tractor has been beat up. And I say this, I don't think it was the previous owner to me that had it. I think it was down the line sometime, maybe the second owner or the original owner had it and kind of just like band-aided it best they could. You could tell it was something that they probably used to mow their lawn and didn't really think that much of keeping it in that great a shape, because you can see where it's had some repairs, some crude repairs, and they painted it all black instead of going with factory colors. So that's why I wanted to go back with factory colors, because I like the contrast of the green, and this was the closest match to the green that was showing through on the hood. And this is a satin finish, apple green satin finish. 2 times painter touch by Rust-Oleum that I found at Home Depot. That's who has it, and I really like the color. For any of you who's doing this and you want to get as close as possible matching paint to what originally, and you had one of these 1969 MTD 700s, and you had the green and yours was originally the green option, and say you want to restore it somewhat. This is the closest green I thought to that, in my eyes from what I could see. Other people might vary in their opinions because they might see it differently. It's all in how you perceive it, but I think this was the closest to the original green under there. Because I'm sure you could find the original green or find somebody to do it, but is it really worth the money spent to go to somebody and get it? And the engine was also painted black, which I redid in white because it was originally like a pearl white. And I started doing the mowing deck bits too. And I decided to chrome all of like the nuts and bolts and some of the pieces on the mowing deck, like these little brackets. Some of them I just left green because I think originally, and I could be wrong, because I never really actually found a picture of restored, unpainted, crudely like this one was MTD 700 with the mowing deck in its original colors. So I'm assuming that it may have originally been black, but you can see kind of like what looks to be a little green shot, but that could have been from me painting, because this is all real rusty. But anyways, I'm going to be painting it in green. And then I also still have to get those nuts freed up that are rusted. A little hurdle that happens typically on mower decks. Now I'm going to scuff this down and paint this whole mower deck green, because I think it's going to look good in green, and I think the blades are going to become chrome painted. And just to put some paint on them, so once I scuff them down, I may not fully get all the rust off them, just paint them green so they look good. But anyways, that's where I am at that. I painted the battery tray black. I will go around back and show you the rest of the tractor, so you can see that. And so here we go. I'm going to keep you kind of down to the grass because I got another project. Though I may have done a video on it, I kind of want to keep it a little secret because I realize I shouldn't give every of my projects away. If it's stuff that I currently have had for a while, then yes, but future projects I kind of like, because I got one. If I can get a battery for it this weekend, I'm going to do a video of me trying to get it running to see if it'll even turn over. It was a freebie from someone that had come and bought an engine off me and didn't want it. They went all the way to Connecticut for it, so it's a freebie. That's what I will tell you. But anyways, there's a gear right here, and I've been trying to get this off, but I don't know if the puller is going to work, because I think I kind of bent it a little bit because I tried to get this off and it popped off there. I may have tweaked it, but if you know me by now, you probably, or from watching my videos, you know my thoughts on Chinese built tool products. But it's hard to get a good American product nowadays that you don't pay up for. And how can you guarantee it's fully made in America anymore? But it is what it is. But once I can get that steering shaft out of there, I am going to pull this dash off, and I am going to probably paint that green, even though from pictures it appears to originally be black, because I think I like the green contrast, so that's going to be a little bit different. I'll just have to mask this off when I go to paint, because I couldn't get it off there. I ended up breaking the plastic knob off, but not real bad that I can't glue it back on. That goes on that. I believe that is a light switch. So, and I think it still works. That I don't know. I am going to have to go through the wiring on this because the lights were not hooked up. But once I can get this out and this off, and I can flip this and get the seat off, and maybe looking further to see if there is a way to pull the transmission, because I want to get this attachment arm off too, because I think that was originally white. You can see kind of the white in there, so I can wash this down after I get the bits off that need to come off, and start painting this black. But I'm going to leave it flipped up so I can start painting from the underside to the top, because it'll be easier that way. I still need to get the front axle freed up, because the axle pieces on each side of the front axle where the tires mount to, that like steering rods, I guess you would call them, are pretty froze up in there, so I got to figure out a way to unfreeze them and pound them out and clean them up so I can get them to work again. Or worst comes to worst, try to locate a new front axle setup. This is going to eventually get replaced, so I'm not going to paint this because I do want to get make the right piece like the other one to work on there, because I don't like this. I think this is crude and homemade, and I want to change it to semi looking good. And on here, I think if you watched my previous video on this, because I know I did one, there was a I think it was for the throttle mounted right here, and you can see where they have 2 holes on here. I want to get another one of the ones that was in here for the choke and do the opposite and put my throttle and choke in there to make it look more uniform, because what I think it originally had was a double system in there, and the throttle for say maybe on this side and then choke on this side, or vice versa, and it had slightly shorter handles for the for knobs, so they wouldn't bump into each other per se and cause each other from being able to move either way. So I have to figure that out. So that's something. Anyways, that's pretty much where I'm at, YouTube folks. Oh, and I want to mask off the steering lever possibly and chrome that, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. Anyways, thank you so much, YouTube folks, for tuning into my video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. If you wouldn't mind, that is. I don't expect you to, but be good. Just show that you got something out of my videos and not just me rambling and then you got bored and then walked away type of deal. But anyways, as always, keep your heads up, stay strong, all that kind of jazz. Have an excellent time, whatever it is, wherever you are. And as always, sunshine, unicorns, and rainbows, YouTube folks. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.